Welcome to Walnut Medical Services demonstration on portable oxygen gas systems. The first one we're going to look at is your E-tank. E-tank's usually stored in an oxygen cart like this. It has a valve closure on here so that makes sure that no debris gets into the valve stem when you're using your oxygen. First thing you want to do when you have your oxygen is you want to peel this off and it'll come straight off. And then once that is off, you can see each tank will have two small holes and one bigger hole here on the tank valve. It's very important with your oxygen regulator. Each regulator has two prongs and a washer. When you insert your tank or regulator onto your tank, lift up the toggle. This will slide down over top and you'll be able to feel the regulator once it fits into place. At that point, the T-screw on the right-hand side, you're just going to tighten it. Hand tight's good. You don't want to go too tight or it's going to strip out the screw and lead to the tank itself not working properly over time. This is your gauge. The gauge tells you how much oxygen is in it. Currently there's no pressure in the regulator, so it's reading 0. A full tank is 2,000 psi. As you use that tank, the gauge will continue to drop down, and once you get into the red, that's when you want to change your tank out. So to start, you're going to turn your liter flow. Once again, you only turn this valve to whatever your doctor's prescription is, and this valve goes from 1 to 8. Okay. To operate your tank, you have the toggle at the top. You're going to turn this counterclockwise, one turn, and you can hear the air coming out of the regulator. And you can see that the gauge has now jumped up to 2,000 psi. And once again, you turn the liter flow to the prescribed liter flow amount. Then you take your nasal cannula, and we just insert it right onto the spout. Now you don't hear the hissing because now the air is coming out through the cannula. When you install the cannula, prongs should be curved up and into your nose so it hooks into place, and then up over each ear like this, and then the little plastic clip here will tighten it up around your neck. This is continuous oxygen, so this will come out on a continuous flow. On 2 liters a minute, you're looking at about 5.5 hours worth of oxygen. There will be a chart with each oxygen setup that tells you exactly how much duration each tank will last. When you're finished using your oxygen, you'll come back to the toggle. You're going to turn it clockwise. And since we only want one turn, then you know you only have one turn to go back to shut it off. And you can see the black needle is dropping down because the pressure is being released from the regulator itself. You can leave this set on whatever your liter flow is, so all you have to do is turn your tank off and on. When your tank is empty, you want to make sure that your toggle is off and unscrew the T-screw and remove your regulator. One good troubleshooting aspect, sometimes the washer will pop off of the regulator and it'll be stuck to the tank, especially if you just used it, because it gets cold and it'll stick to the side of the tank. Then when you go to put the oxygen on your next tank, this is what it's going to do. You're going to hear real loud hissing because it's missing the washer. If you hear that sound, you know that you are missing your washer, and you either need to check the tank that you just removed your regulator from or on the floor around your tanks. Once again, there's your washer. You can see the prongs and the gold tip there. The washer just will fit right over top of the tip, secure it into place, and then when you get your new full tank, you do the same process again over top of the valve. Get the prongs to line up into the holes, tighten the T-screw, and counterclockwise turns the tank on. And because we have the washer in place, you do not hear the loud hissing sound that we just heard on the tank previously. Once again, when you're done with it, you just turn the tank off and let it sit for the next time you need the oxygen. This can be used, like I said, as a portable gas system for patients who are not allowed to use a conserving device. So this would be what you would use going to doctor's appointments or to the store or whatever. This is also a required backup. You must have 3 hours worth of emergency backup, which would be the e-tanks in a cart. So depending on your liter flow, you may need to have 2 of these tanks to last you, to allow us time to get to your home after hours, or in case of a power failure, or the machine, which your oxygen concentrator would shut down. Okay. Now the next portable is called a conserving device, and that's what this is here. It's a bonsai. This one will go from 1 to 6 liters per minute. Same concept as the other regulator. Once again, the valve closure will be on. You will take the valve closure off of the tank, and each valve has the 2 small holes in the large hole. And the same thing, the prongs will slide this over top of your valve, and you'll be able to see when the prongs get into the holes, and you tighten the T-screw, which is on this one is a black handle. Same thing, here's your toggle to turn the tank off and on. And the gauge is exactly the same, 0 to 2000 psi is a full tank. And as you use this, it will slowly drop down. Now these tanks will last longer than these because this is an on-demand system. So you will breathe in through your nose, and when you do that, you will hear a puff of oxygen with each breath. But you have to breathe in through your nose. If you're a mouth breather, it's not going to activate the system, and the portable is not going to work for you. You're going to become short of breath. So you want to make sure you take a good deep breath in through the nose, exhale out through the mouth. Same thing, you make sure you set your liter flow. This is your regulator gauge, on and off, and the T-screw. It works the same way. You just pop your oxygen cannula onto the tip of the regulator. Now this one here, when I turn this on, you're not going to hear the oxygen until I insert the cannula and start to breathe through my nose. So once again, counterclockwise turns the tank on. Same thing, one turn completely to open it, then it's one turn to shut it off. You don't want to get confused and keep turn and turn, then some people have trouble remembering which way is off and on. But the old adage, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, works perfectly for this. So you can hear there's nothing coming out of the tank because this is an on-demand system. So you have to insert the cannula, like you did the last time, into your nose. And as you can probably hear, as you breathe in through your nose, there'll be a puff, and you can hear it right in the regulator of the oxygen tank. And the faster you breathe, the quicker the oxygen is going to be used. So the higher the liter flow, the less duration time you will have on this tank. But a small tank like this, on 2 liters a minute, should last you 6 hours. So it's a smaller tank compared to the E-tank, but it's going to last you a little longer. Okay. Same thing when you go to exchange the tank. When your tank is empty, you're going to turn your valve off, loosen the T-screw. The air you hear coming out is just letting the pressure out of the regulator. Nothing to worry about there. Remove this, take your empty tank out, and then you will have your new tank. Once again, you pull your valve closure off, which will be set on like so. It just rips off. And you want to make sure your washer is still on your regulator, like we demonstrated with the E-tank. Sometimes it will stick to the side of the tank. Sometimes it may fall on the floor. So you always want to make sure that you have your washer on your regulator. Just to review, the bonsai goes on top of your valve. You tighten the T-screw. Make sure your liter flow is set. Counterclockwise opens the tank. And that there is the valve did not seal properly. So you want to make sure your tank is tight. and now you don't hear it. So if you hear that hissing sound, that's definitely a warning that something isn't connected right. So when you hear that, you just turn your tank back off so you don't lose all your oxygen, and you go back through the process and tighten up your T-screw, make sure your prongs are lined up into the holes and the washers covering the big hole. And once again, you put your cannula in, you breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, and you will hear and feel the pulse dose of oxygen enter your nose. So that's how our portable oxygen systems work. Remember, if you have any questions at any time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all you gotta do is call Walnut Medical Services, and somebody will be able to help you with any of your problems that you may have. Thank you.